Drivers, start your engines, please.
Giving the command to start the engines was R.K. Siegel, Commissioner of the Georgia Department of Industry, Trade and Tourism. And those racing engines must now scream for the next 10 hours. Welcome to Braselton, Georgia, just north of Atlanta, where today we will enjoy round 9 of the American Le Mans Series. Now this is a physical, mental and mechanical battle between the world's top sports car teams, reaching for the ultimate bragging rights. Let's take a look at our Audi track map, and Dorsey, this is a fascinating racetrack here at Road Atlanta.
Road Atlanta is a 2.5-mile roller coaster that you can fall off of. A lot of elevation change, speeds over 190 miles per hour. This is going to be a great day for racing. The competition, unbelievable, set for a really good race.
People rolled in here till 3 o'clock this morning to get their prime position. They're in campers, they're in motorhomes, they're camped on the ground. As we go to our onboard cameras, and we have a load of them for you today. First one here is number 7. This is driven by Boris Said, one of the BMWs. You see Hans Stuck and Johannes van Overbeek will team with him. Next one is number 5, Dick Barber's car, led by Lucas Luhr, and Dirk Muller will jump into this car. 2 drivers only in the Porsche as opposed to 3 in the BMW. Then we go to the number 3 Corvette. What a view this will be. All afternoon. The pole sitter almost have to come to a standstill in GTS. Ron Fellows behind the wheel, Chris Kneifel. And here's the new section of Road Atlanta. For those of you who remember many years in the past, this was a fierce downhill dip at high speed, and then it suddenly went uphill. Well, now that's removed to a left-right corner that is about 2nd and 3rd gear. There's going to be a late yellow here, I believe, to bunch these boys up. But look at that Audi freight train. Right through the last corner, they accelerate in unison. Alan McNish on the right side, left side of your screen right now. Remember, it's 10 hours, so boys, take it easy as you hang on to your hollyhocks here.
Oh, we've had a problem. GT car into the wall pretty hard there. That's the exit of the downhill.
Johnny Molam and David Murray's car, Rowan Skay's car.
It's hurt bad. Look at the back.
I don't think he's going to get that back.
Nope.
David Murray is behind the wheel. David Murray, of course, local boy from Atlanta here.
Now that one's finished. He doesn't know it yet, but
this does not look good. The GTs.
Oh, we have problems here on the 10 BMW. It's pulled off course into the grass, so it has a problem.
Brian Cunningham, we believe, started that car. This was one of the new M3s. Wow, he can't even get it back to the pit lane. He can't. So attrition very high here early in this race. The first P car that we saw go was the Matthews Johansson car that was driven by Guy Smith. And I think we can get an update on the Guy Smith situation while we watch this. This is a disaster here with this deer.
Now it's on the downhill. That's coming out of turn 11 on the way to 12. It has nowhere to go. It's stuck by this wall. Jumps it. Good deer. Well, he made it. Another day.
Because this is going to be a familiar pattern all the way through this. And remember what's going to happen when they're trying to do this in the middle of the night, in the darkness. There's not much light here when you race these things at night. We're going to be here for every lap. Don't go away. Alan McNish. Is he staying again?
Looks like he is.
Yeah, because actually, Dorsey, this was not a long second stint.
You're right.
Is leading in the GT category as we speak.
Of course, I
don't think they made a pit stop on this run of stops here.
Of course, that great 20-second plus lead that Alan McNish worked so diligently to get now goes away, and everything's back like it hasn't run yet.
It is now gone. Bill Oberlin just
holding his arm there.
Escaped a huge crash.
And now we'll sit down.
Bill Oberlin, we believe, has done a backward flip, very much like what happened to Porsche 2 years ago.
Here, watch top of the screen now. He's drafting at the wrong place, right behind the guy. Goes around, there's the same identical flip. Now that's the Porsche bridge.
Oh, no.
Oh, and it lands on its side. Much worse crash than last year. Much worse. He impacts the wall.
Wow.
Driver's side. This car's still running over 100 miles per hour. That was a vicious impact.
This is just incredible. 2 years ago, we had the same thing happen to factory Porsche with Yannick Dalmas on board. And now it happens again. Bill Oberlin just escaped a huge one. Yeah, but flip overs have been big news in sports car racing over the last couple of years. Let's just have a look at what happened here 2 years ago with Yannick Dalmas in the factory Porsche. Watch what happens here. Look, like an airplane, he flips upside down and then destroys it into the concrete wall. And Dorsey, have a look at a slow-mo with this flip here. You can see exactly what happened.
Look, he's in the dirty air. The car right before him did that. Look, all the way around, 1.5 hits there. Of course, totally out of control now. It bites, and this is a big, big impact head on into the concrete.
And let's go back to Le Mans 2 years ago, the Mercedes-Benz, and this was unbelievable. Flips upside down 4 or 5 times, completely cleared the racetrack and over across the trees. And then today,
of course, Bill Oberlin, very lucky man to escape that secondary impact. All these cars landed back on their wheels, with the exception, of course, of the Mercedes. Of course, so that was Bill expressing his displeasure at the Rodriguez car not letting him by. That's the Raffinelli Lola. Yeah, and that was an enormous hit. And people can't realize how hard when it hit the ground the first time, but the secondary hit head on into the wall. That was massive.
Remember, he takes off at about 125 miles an hour. And there is Charlie Lamb, the German who runs the Schnitzer BMW team, concern on his face now for JJ Leto in the other car. Now Boris said in the BMW leads the GT category from Randy Popes, Bruno Lambert and Lazzaro. In the second place GT car, then Masson and Wallach and Lucas Luhr and Dirk Muller. This is on board, in fact, with Hans Stuck. Boris said started this car, ran so well, hands it over to Hans Stuck, of course knows these cars very well.
And Boris loves driving with Stuckey because he says he's one of the guys that he doesn't have to adjust the seat. Of course, both of these guys, pretty tall boys, both can pedal that race car too, I guarantee you.
BMWs have done well here for over the years. There is not many low-speed corners that they have had to accelerate out from. Therefore, the lower displacement in their engine and the torque that they have to give up to the Porsche, which is a rear engine car, does not affect them that much here.
You know, they had a preliminary race before this, a Volkswagen Beetle race for all celebrities, and Stuckey there spanked the field. He started toward the back pretty good and battled his way to the front literally and ended up winning that.
A lot of changes on this new BMW M3, more horsepower, suspension geometry has changed, and Yokohama have actually developed a new tire, and the package has just put them a lot closer than they've been to the Porsche every other race except Sears Point this year. What a titanic struggle that was with the Porsche and the BMW. Don't go away.
These guys can't see out the back of these cars.
He went across his bows so fast there. On board now with Hans Stuck. Johannes van Overbeek is the third driver that will get into this car. A lot of work on this M3. A lot of work done by Tom Milner. I want to show you our telemetry here again. You can have a look at the speeds. Up the hill.
Well, 116 miles an hour. Listen now as he accelerates through the S's. Flat out through here, listen. A little breathe. There goes the leader, overall leader going by.
Remember now, we saw in excess of 185 miles an hour for the leader down this next straight. Let's watch with the BMW. Stay on board here. We're going to watch the speed. Top gear at 119 miles an hour. No, 134 before he even picks top gear. Here's another one. 150 miles an hour before he gets top gear.
154 for top end, so you've got 30 mile per hour difference.
How many gears? How many gears he got in that thing?
He's got one more than we normally hear.
Six-speed right gearbox. Alan McNish is up to.
Well, it's not really a surprise to me when he stayed in the car, and the reason is I watched him very closely over in turn one as well as when we went out to the infield, And that car looks far more stable, planted, and smooth than any of the other cars. Now, I remember earlier in the show, Calvin did a report that they were running a little bit of a different setup on the car, a bit softer, and I don't think McNish is working anywhere near as hard in the car as some of the others are. He also is going through one with far more speed than anybody else, and that's, you know, the result of this big lead. But I think McNish, one, is in a zone like he was at Sears Point, but two, the car is far more driver friendly than any of the other cars I've seen out there, at least in the P category.
So we are just about at the top of the hour. Quick reset. McNish is a comfortable lead. Biela is second in the second of the Audis. Then we have the first of the BMWs, the only remaining BMW in the GTS category. Kelly Collins is still in that Chevrolet Corvette, chased by two Vipers. Scariest moment we've had involved this man here. We're so glad to see him with a smile on his face. Bill Orban and Andrew.
Well, Bill, it's great to see you in one piece. You're a member of that exclusive Upside Down club now.
Wow, well, isn't that great? I mean, I didn't want to be a member, and Mom, I'm okay, everything is fine, but the BMW was running fine. We were tuning it from pit stop to pit stop because we were struggling a little bit, and everything was okay. I was following the Olive Garden, and that's why I never wanted to be behind somebody. I would always leave part of the car open, but I never expected somebody to shoot out like that. When he shot out, I pulled right, he pulled right. I was trying to get the draft to get by, and he completely concealed the front downforce of my car, and it was just too much.
Well, now you're going to look forward to racing in California and Laguna Seca. Look forward to California and Laguna Seca.
Yeah, there's nothing like this in Laguna, but we had a good car. We had a car that we knew would be strong. The BMW team did a great job. The engine was perfect, and we could be there. Now it's for 42. They got to go and win this one.
Guys, keep in mind also that when you take the air off the front of the car, the air generally will get to the rear of the car. The rear wings on these cars live out behind the center line of the rear wheels, which means the rear wing has leverage on the car. So when you lose the air to the front, that rear wing really works against you, and that is one of the factors that plays into that car getting upside down. It's a low percentage move down there through the S's.
Well, there's a look at Paul Newman's Dick Barber Racing Porsche going to get loaded on the tilt bet.
Herb, from strictly a marketing standpoint, you must be thrilled about the success of the U.S. Grand Prix.
Absolutely. We were there last weekend, and our hats are really off to Bernie Ecclestone and his organization, as well as Tony George and all the folks at IMS. For those of you that were there, it was just a spectacular event. I don't think the Europeans had even seen anything like that before.
It was a very spectacular event. I was fortunate enough to be there, and it's something that you don't soon forget, no question. Herb, thanks so much for stopping by. Good luck again, not only for the rest of this season, but with your venture into Formula One next year. It's going to be a lot of fun to follow. We watched a pit stop by one of those Dams Motorola Cadillacs. They're back out, and we'll be back to Road Atlanta right after this.
The guys in the GT cars, especially, that prototype is rolling up on them so fast.
Right.
And, you know, with this racetrack, I mean, okay, we've got a long straightaway here on the back, but so much of this stuff is interconnected. There's so much elevation change, and I think you just catch the other cars so fast. And I think those guys, even though they know the closing rates are quick, it is just so fast that it's hard to really anticipate how quickly that's all going to happen.
It's very difficult for both the GT drivers. We saw Carl Wendling again out of the car. He's very mad when the PANOZ ran into him. They've got slower cars to deal with, but these P cars are just taking every opportunity they can to slice their way through, and it's very difficult to see. I mean, the backs of the cars get dirty. It's tough to see out of the windshields. We lose mirrors on the race cars. There's a lot going on. You're twisting and turning. You're doing your own things.
And those of, as I mentioned, the drivers, sometimes it's a little bit nervous. A little bit of nervous consolation coming for Bill Oberlin.
For us, at the moment, it's not very comfortable, but it looks good, so I waited to...
After it won the Daytona 24 Hours, it was pitted, it was trashed. There's the number 7 BMW down in pit lane, and it's not just necessarily a standard pit stop, because it had a bit of a moment not long ago out on track that might have hastened the pit stop. Jeremy, it got away from him big time coming down through the S's.
And it didn't look like there was any contact with any other cars, and those P cars very lucky. Look at the closing rate here also on the Viper. So I did see it.